on our group and the perspective on Shawn, there's a few things that popped in my head this morning as I'm thinking about meaningful phrases or things that I've thought of before. So I would call this the journey, the dash, and the legacy. And the journey is a quote. Oh, you have a big picture of a canoe looking way off in the forefront and long across the lake to the mountains. And the phrase is, it's great to have an end to journey towards, but it's your journey that matters in the end. And Shawn's journey, we were blessed, as many people were, to have Shawn's influence. God. Shawn's influence in our lives, as many others have. So we're blessed to be part of that journey, and it's influenced our journey and our choices, because our life's based on, we're a product of our choices. The second is the dash. Sharon mentioned this the other day. There's a great little poem, if you look it up, called The Dash. On our tombstones, there'll be the date, early 60s for Shawn, early 50s for us, and the dash. And eventually we're all going to have that final date. But the dash is about how we choose to live our life during the dash period. And Shawn lived it to the most, and we became part of his dash. And now we're part of each other's dash, the way we're living our life. The third thing is the legacy. The legacy is the story that's told when you're gone. And as we know from this trip, many, many stories are being told. And that's part of Shawn's legacy, not just for our tight group, but for all those interconnected webs and our web of life. And the fourth thing that popped into mind, I use a lot with teams, it's amazing what can be accomplished when no one cares who gets the credit. And one of Shawn's attributes, as we know, was his humbleness and his accomplishments. And if we were, as a group, or any group of people that have traveled with Shawn, were to do a reflective paper on the top dozen influential, significant canoeists in North American history, Shawn would be in that list. And it covers many different areas, not just the fact that he opened up the North and people used to follow him to see what has he done. That means we can do it, because he did the first. But also, it's other people. He would be there with the Bill Masons. He would be there with Pierre Elliott Trudeau, had the foresight to create the Canadian Heritage River System, all the northern rivers, and save them and create attributes that are different categories. Wendy Grader with Blackfeather, very significant things she did. There's a gentleman, I forget his name, but you may know, he ran the canoe symposium in Toronto. He's a historian, a big influential impact. People came from everywhere to go to that symposium. There was an early paddleist, not Grail, but another one that influenced in the 60s, 70s, introducing people to canoeing in Algonquin Park and giving instruction. So many people have had impact, but Shawn's impact, as we know, in terms of our Canadian North, and then expanding to Central America, Europe, etc., was unimaginable. He was an innovator and a risk taker. So those are some of the thoughts that popped into my head as I was thinking and reflecting on Shawn. And even Emily, talking about influence, knowing I probably wanted to be a Shawn wannabe, got me my Tilly hat for this particular trip. So anyway, we're all blessed to be here, and it's been wonderful traveling with each of you, and now we're a new connected group of friends, so thank you. Phrases or things that I've thought of before. So I would call this the journey, the dash.
Hi, this is a little aside. I'm not one for talking in front of groups, but I definitely wanted to say something to you. And anyways, Shawn was a big part of our lives, as you know, and Emily too. Anyways, we're all taking this pretty rough. This was an amazing trip, an absolutely amazing trip, and I'm so glad that we came on it. And I want to thank you for allowing Shawn to come on it with us. We carried him all this way to continue his journey. And I was always after him to write a book, as you know. He is such a wealth of knowledge, and it's too bad that wasn't tapped into. But anyways, you're certainly in our thoughts and our prayers, and thank you for this opportunity. Okay.
With Shawn, that all of you have. But as I listen to the stories and your emotions and your comments, it's very, very easy to say that Shawn lived a wonderful life. And really, isn't that the highest compliment you could pay someone to have lived a wonderful life? But I got thinking about it a little bit more, and something that's even a higher place is to help others live a wonderful life or have wonderful moments in their life. And I think that's very, very easy to say that Shawn helped so many people have so many wonderful moments in their life.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I just want to say that Shawn was my beginning of my life becoming much more happier. I thank him and thank you.
Very nice, Mark.
I'm like Larry. I thought of three things. First thing was how grateful I am to Shawn for bringing all these awesome people together. We would never have met all you guys and had such great experiences if it weren't for Shawn. And I hope this continues for as long as we can do it. Second, Shawn pretty much saved my husband, who I love more than anything. And he was going through a really bad time when he and Shawn started tripping. And I know that his friendship was just critical to Dave's sanity. And I'm so grateful to him for being there in our lives like that. And thirdly, he was always just nothing but a perfect gentleman to me, and so sweet and considerate. And I know, maybe not always like that to everyone, but he always was to me. And I always loved being around him, and so smart and easy to talk to. And so, yeah, just thanks, Shawn, for everything.
I want to thank everybody, not just for the words, but everybody here for your friendship. Mark, you've been coming with me for almost 20 years. Andre, a few years. Larry and Sharon, nicest couple I've ever met in my life. John, you're awesome, man. James, I've done many, many things with you, with Shawn, with all of you. DJ, my wife Terry, we're all connected, and not just as clients, but we're friends. Some of us were clients, some of them have been friends for 50 years. Some of them were kids together in this group. But every single person here is here because of Shawn. This is why this trip happened. And we needed a healing trip. We needed something where we weren't focused on fear, the water or the elements or anything, but where we could come together. And I think everything kind of worked. The weather was absolutely spectacular. There was no hard times, there were no bugs, there was nothing that went wrong. We played horseshoes with stones in the middle of the Arctic. We grilled grayling on open fires. We had grizzly bears in our camp. But what we had was constant laughter, companionship, and all this practice. And not one person here would be here. For my time, I came off 2 years working 7 days a week, building a hospital in decided to go in the north somewhere, and I had read about Shawn, and that's who I did. I didn't meet him on that trip. It was the next year. It was only a couple years later I became one of his main guides, and he and I were the expeditionary. We went to Greece first, we went to Belize first, Costa Rica first, before we take the clients. This was my life. 20 years. Don't know how much he loves me. But Shawn was a lot of things to a lot of people. You know, at his memorial, to most people, he was a paddler. To me, that was only a small part of it. That guy was an explorer, an intellect. He was somebody that remembered everything, every map. You could just go and not see him for years, sit down with this guy and have a beer, and it's like you were there yesterday. That was Shawn. Far more than a paddler. Shawn was an explorer. He just wanted to see the world, he wanted to meet people. And that, he was like a magnet. He got people off the couch and out of the places in Toronto and all over Europe and the United States that would never have ever done this sort of trip. His trips weren't, you know, milk toast, follow all the rules, nobody go out of sight. You were kind of, he let you be yourself. He'd draw you in if he needed to. He'd rescue if you swam too far. But, you know, he let you be yourself. And that's why these people, even as they aged, some of these people, you know, that gone into the 80s with him. They've been with him for decades. And not because he was just the best paddler, because it was the best experience. Now, it's exactly a year ago now. Shawn was the worst battle of his life. I got the call. Dave, I need you in the Yukon. I got cancer, the bad guy. I never saw him again. I talked to him. But his guides, his family, his friends, all came together. His ashes are across the Arctic. Hayes River, Nunavut, the flood bay in Manitoba, now the Noatak in Alaska. He always wanted to come to Alaska. He always wanted to explore parts of the world we hadn't gotten to. We spent endless hours all over the world. Where can we go? Where is it safe? What rivers can we find? So for 2 weeks, Shawn's shared a tent with Terry and I, paddling our boats. Now we have to say our final goodbye, but not the memories. I don't think I'll ever put a paddle in the water when I think about Shawn. I don't think you guys will either. Or you explore someplace that's really off the beaten track. Shawn would have loved this. Thanks, Shawn. And thanks, Liz, for letting us have this moment.